Good evening. Welcome back to Hellhound's Late Night Spook Show here on the Horror and Metal channel and comics. This is going to be Hellhound's Batman Collection, Part 1. So if you want to go ahead and get to the collection, if you want to go just see me count down some of these comics that I dug out and take a look at my Batman comics collection, or at least some of it, skip to the 4-minute mark right now, because I'm going to give like kind of a brief introduction and try to make it as quickly as possible about like the history of the character and what he means to me, like kind of my history with the character and why he's my favorite. Skip to the 4-minute mark now to go ahead and get to the collection, and if I'm still talking with the introduction, skip to the 5-minute mark, or just read the description. I'll come with some new time slot. Alright, that's right. A while back, maybe like 5 years ago, I had two videos, Hellhound's Batman Collection Part 1, which was just books, and then Part 2, which was DVDs. My collection's expanded much since then. Expanded quite a lot since then, and also these videos didn't turn out very good, so I set them to private a while back, and a couple people were asking what happened to your Batman videos. Well, I'm going to redo them right now, and it's going to be much better, because my collection's bigger, I'm more comfortable talking in front of a camera, and there's a lot more to say. So anyway, so skip to the 4-minute mark, or maybe 5-minute mark, or whatever. This is going to be part 1. I'm going to take a look at some of my favorite comic book individual issues in my collection, and by that I mean an individual comic. Pretty much anything you can read, but that's not like in a book form. So no graphic novels or trade paperbacks or hardcovers or omnibus collections that make up a bunch of individual issues or one-shots that's anything other than an individual comic. That's going to be the next video. So this is going to be part 1, individual comics. Part 2 is going to be those books, trade paperbacks, collections, and graphic novels, all that. Part 3, I think, is going to be animation. It's going to be animated TV shows, cartoons, and then animated movies. And then Part 4 is probably going to be live-action movies. So I don't know yet if I'm going to combine the just cartoon shows or in cartoon movies in one video, or do them separate. So there's going to be 4 or 5 parts to this little limited series, the Hellhound's Batman Collection. Alright, so anyway, like I said, my favorite is Batman. I've had to pick a favorite superhero, and it would be Batman. And I know it's very common now, but I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. I'm not trying to be trendy. I know it's a very obvious choice, but the thing is, my favorite's always been Batman, like even well before the internet, well before I knew other people were really so into it. Obviously I knew it was a very popular character, and I knew a lot of my friends liked it too, but it wasn't as huge as it is now. Now it's basically, my favorite's Batman. Why? Because he's Batman, and that's it. But for me, I grew up reading comics. I was always more of a Marvel fan overall, Spiderman, the Hulk, X-Men, the Avengers, Iron Man, all that. But I was an avid Batman fan, and he was my favorite character, even though I was more of a Marvel guy. I had other comics, Superman, Justice League, and The Flash, and all that, but it was mostly all about, Batman. When it came to DC, it was 90% Batman back then, and still is in a lot of ways, but I have branched out into other characters and storylines as well from DC. I love DC pretty much equally with Marvel now, though. So if I had to pick, I guess it would be Marvel, but I still prefer Batman over any Marvel character. Spider-Man would be a very close second when it comes to just top 10 superheroes in general. But anyway, for me, the reason I like Batman better is because he's more, of course he's more badass than Superman and stuff, but also, his stories were darker, grittier, more realistic. Not that it has to be realistic. I read comics to escape from reality. It doesn't have to be realistic, but it's a little more, psychological, too. Okay, so it's the 4-minute mark, and I'm still talking about the introduction. Skip to the 5-minute mark if you skipped to the 4-minute mark. If I'm still talking, so go and skip to the 5-minute mark to get to the collection. Alright, so anyway, they're pretty much crime drama detective stories with kind of an old, a 40s style feel, even in the modern comics. Batman started in 1939, so fittingly enough, they started out as crime dramas and superhero and detective stories more than a superhero comic that traditionally as much as I like seeing Superman, flying into space and punching meteorites and fighting Lex Luthor and some big robotic machine contraption destroying the city and using his laser vision and his super strength. That's cool, but the Batman stories are more psychological. Batman's a human character with no superpowers, and most of his villains were too. Batman had a tragic experience when Joe Chill murdered his parents, and so now he wants to make sure nobody else feels that grief, feels what he feels, but then the Joker had a tragic experience skip to the 6-minute mark to see my collection. I'm still talking. So yeah, the Joker had a tragic experience. If you go by the Killing Joke origin, or the one in that one issue of Detective Comics 168, I believe it. Do not quote me on that because I might have screwed that all up. I mean, he falls into the vat of acid, it bleaches his skin. So now he wants everybody else to feel grief. And then with Robin, Dick Grayson, his family actually was murdered by Tony Zuko. And so somebody pointed out that like Batman might have been like saw that like he could use that rage and that drive to motivate him, but Batman wanted to shape and mold him his image so he doesn't become a villain someday. He's going to make him a hero. So it's always been more psychological. These people didn't have superpowers. It wasn't just science gave them superpowers, so now they either use their powers for good or evil. You know, it's more psychological than that. It's kind of a character study. It's more character-driven, and a lot of these people start out as good people, but then something happened, and now they're deranged psychopaths. And that was always really interesting to me. So yeah, they're basically gritty, grim, darker, serious crime drama detective stories, and Batman's a badass vigilante. He's a hero, and he saves people, but it's more about making criminals fear breaking the law. He would beat the crap out of them and make them scared. I like that idea. Usually, it's kind of the other way around, that the hero is the colorful type, and then the villain's the dark, serious person. Well, Batman's the opposite. You know, Batman, you know, these people are terrified to break the law. So that's why I like Batman so much. Maybe I'll elaborate more in a future video what Batman means to me. So, but now it's the 6.5-minute marks. Let's go and get to the collection. So yeah, that's right. So this is part 1, just individual issues. Anything that you can read that's Batman related, that's not a graphic novel or a trade paperback or Omnibus collection or anything like that. So, so yeah, I didn't get, so yeah, you can see, yeah, a few Wizard magazines with Batman on the cover. Yeah, love Batman. He's always been my favorite, and so if you just think I'm jumping on the bandwagon, you know, then that's not it. I just explained why. So, you know, some people say, who's your favorite superhero? And I say Batman. They're like, oh, of course he is. You would say that. It's like, no, that's not why, you know. I just explained why. So see the previous part of this video. Yeah, I always love Batman. Alright, so yeah, individual comics. I didn't grab them all, but I grabbed like a handful. I tried to grab some from like different eras. You know, I don't really have too many Golden Age Batman comics, but the ones I do have are kind of sealed away somewhere. Let's just leave it at that. So yeah, from different eras, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, the Modern Age, you know, several different writers and artists. I kind of get the best of both worlds. Most of the ones I got are here in the stack are individual Batman comics. I pulled out a few team-ups and like ensemble pieces, but mostly I just want to focus on actual Batman titles, and I pulled out a few that were like other supporting characters in their own title just to kind of talk about them a little bit. But I'll talk about them as I go. I was trying to spend too much time on each comic other than like a sentence or two, but anyway, I guess we can get started. I think that was enough of an introduction. So, here's issue 245 of just the traditional Batman comic. Batman, of course, debuted in Detective Comics number 27, and he was created by Bob Kane, artist Bob Kane and writer Bill Finger. They created the character, and, you know, of course, several artists and writers have come and did their own interpretation. We'll see. This one was, I think Julius Schwartz was the editor this time, in the early 70s, 72, I believe. And, or maybe a little later, I don't know. So yeah, but this was written by Dennis O'Neil, who I think was a huge part of what Batman is today. A lot of people credit Frank Miller, and rightfully so, but it was kind of Dennis O'Neil that brought Batman back to his darker roots. And of course, this was drawn by Neil Adams, who's possibly my favorite Batman artist ever. Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams are a great team. I kind of wish they did more Batman stuff together. They did quite a few issues, but not enough. I can't get enough of them. Because yeah, Bob Kane and Bill Finger created Batman, and the 40s, you know, the 40s and 50s, he was definitely darker, more serious. Like not as much as today. Back then, those comics are dated and kind of campy. But then, you know, the 60s and the 60s and 70s came around. He's a lot more campy. That's when the Adam West TV show came out, and that's kind of what Batman was to me when I was growing up. I watched the Adam West TV show, and then I you know, got into the 60s and 70s Batman cartoons. More on them in part 3, Hellhound's Batman Collection Part 3. And then, of course, the Burton films came out. I loved them. The 1992 animated series came out, and I still think that's the best adaptation by far. So I do like the dark, gritty Batman stories. That works well in Batman. It doesn't work on other characters like Superman, but for Batman, it works great. Yeah, here's giant-sized Batman, issue 262, where he fights the Scarecrow on a roller coaster. That's really great artwork. I think there's actually 2 stories. There's one where he has to save Robin, Dick Grayson, the first Robin, and there's one where he fights the Scarecrow. Yeah, great story. So yeah, anyway, So yeah, Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams and all them, Julia Schwartz as editor, like all them kind of made the stories dark again. Like it wasn't Batman walking down the street in a sunlit summer day and waving and people saying, "Oh my gosh, it's Batman." Here's 264, Batman 264. You know, and so yeah, I credit Denny O'Neil with that, and then Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams and all them, all the ones of that era kind of made it, you know, they loved using the Batman sitting on a gargoyle at night with his rain dripping, and like this is an awesome image, and like just imagery like that is why I like Batman. He's a badass vigilante, and it's just really, really cool. And then, you know, of course, Frank Miller came along with Dark Knight Returns, more on that in episode part 2 of this collection series. And he took all that and made it more grim. So, pretty cool. I didn't want to just show off the collection, by the way. I didn't just want to say, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one. I wanted to kind of talk about the history of Batman in between. So, if that's not your thing, then I apologize. But, yeah, here's issue 266 with him and Catwoman. You know, she was always a femme fatale at first. She was a villain at first, but a lot of times they teamed up, and she's kind of an anti-hero. They have a kind of a weird love-hate romance relationship going on. But anyway, like I said, Dark Knight Returns came, and Frank Miller reinvented Batman yet again. And, of course, there's The Killing Joke in 1988 by Alan Moore. And then, of course, you got to give a lot of credit to Tim Burton and, of course, Bruce Timm, who did the animated series in the 90s, which, like I said, is the best adaptation. And then, of course, Christopher Nolan, too, did the Dark Knight trilogy, but more on that later. All right, so let's just focus on the comics right now. Yeah, this is issue 267. I'm not going to talk about all the writers and all the artists. I'm just talking about some of my favorites. Like I said, Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams. Of course, Bob Kane and Bill Finger should get credit for creating Batman because it wouldn't be here without them. And then, yeah, of course, Frank Miller, like I said, Alan Moore, Jeff Loeb, who did Long Halloween, Dark Victory, and Hush, and then Tim Sale, who drew 2 of those, Long Halloween and Dark Victory. And yeah, Alan Moore, who did Killing Joke, and all that. But more on that later. We'll talk about the graphic novels and like limited series, story arcs and stuff later. Let's just look at the individual comics right now. This is 286. I like that cover. There's the real Joker and a Joker imposter. There's kind of a twist at the end. Yeah, they fight in an amusement park. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I think Commissioner Gordon and Alfred have kind of a bigger role this time. Alfred is, of course, his faithful butler. But here's issue 287 where he battles the Penguin. Yeah, I've got reprints of a lot of the first appearances of these characters. I've got a reprint of the first Joker appearance. This was Batman issue 1, which introduced the Joker and Selina Kyle before she became the Catwoman, before she made it wear a cat mask and costume. She's just known as like a cat burglar. I've got reprints of all that. I got the first appearance of the Penguin and Riddler and Two-Face and Scarecrow and all that. But these are all just these are all the originals. I didn't get any of my reprints for this video. Maybe I'll show them in a future video. Maybe I'll do a part 5 or 6 or whatever number I'm on at that point. But a lot of them are trade paperback collections too. So I've read these stories. Even if I don't have the issue, chances are if it's Batman, I've probably read it at least once. Yeah, 287 with the Penguin, and then we have this is a pretty cool little miniature story arc. Yeah, issue 291, and it has a contest. You could be in the Superman movie. Details inside. I'm going to enter it after this video, and if you watch Superman the movie, if I'm not in it, I guess that means I didn't win the contest. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, Batman issue 291 is the Tombstone. It looks like they killed Batman. They're trying to figure out who did it, and then we have the Riddler, Poison Ivy, Scarecrow, Joker, Catwoman, and even Lex Luthor, and they all give a testimonial. I guess this one's the Catwoman one, where she gives her... They all tell the events that led to the Batman's death, and you know he didn't really die, obviously. It was another fake out, but yeah, this is the one where Catwoman tells her story. I'm the one who killed Batman, and here's what happened. She tells her in the beginning, and then, yeah, it looks like they attend his funeral. Pretty cool. There was an episode of the animated series based on, I think loosely based on this, who got the bat, and then, like, the Joker was the judge, and this, Harvey Dent, of course, is the attorney, because, you know, he Two-Face is the attorney, because, of course, when he was Harvey Dent, he was a district attorney, so he's the lawyer, telling him, you know, where were you when Batman died, and what's your case, what's your evidence. And here's the next issue, 292, where the Riddler tells his story about how he killed Batman. I really like that cover. He's holding the cape and the cowl, the mask, ripped it off, and he's like, I killed the Batman. So yeah, the Testimony of the Riddler, really cool cover, I always thought. Then we have this This is 293. This is Lex Luthor's version of the events, the death of Batman, and it looks like he's trapped Superman in Batman's body. He's got his kryptonite fist gauntlet thing, and then but it really is just a flashback of how it happened. It's kind of, it doesn't, the story isn't really as cool. It doesn't really happen like that cover would suggest, but still pretty interesting the way they played it out. And then yeah, it turns out that it looks like he killed Batman and Superman, but really it turns out to be kind of a fake out. It's kind of interesting. And so yeah, Lex Luthor, Batman and Superman. And then we have 294. This is one of my favorite covers. This is one of my favorite Joker covers, right up there with the issue 251, which I will have soon enough, and you guys will see. I'll show it off in a video. Which that was of course drawn, the artwork by Neil Adams. It's the one. It's Batman 251, the one with like the Ace card and Batman, and so it's like a giant Joker laughing. I've got a reprint of it, and I've also got it in a trade paperback collection with Joker stories, but I will own it soon enough. And that's one of my favorite Joker covers, along with this one. It looks like he's killed Batman, and he rubbed his face out, so he couldn't tell he's Bruce Wayne, of course. And yeah, what a joke! Even in death, Batman, your secret identity is still a secret. Yeah, and this is kind of the conclusion to that little miniature story arc, the death of Batman. Then we have issue 308, where he fights Mr. Freeze. And, there's another contest for the Superman movie, the second Superman movie. Okay, so it's Superman 2, not Superman the movie. Yeah, I'm going to enter that contest. I hope I get to be in it. Yeah, he fights Mr. Freeze, and Mr. Freeze has these frozen zombie-like creatures that fight Batman. And there's this woman that's working with him, so I think, and he loves her, he'll do anything for her, but then she wants to turn on him and just take his money, and then she kind of teams up with Batman, and then Mr. Freeze turns on her, and he looks like he turns Batman into one of those frozen zombies, but of course it's not the case. So this might have kind of inspired the Mr. Freeze of the 90s animated series, because Bruce Timm and company made him a much darker, more serious character, and he was kind of a joke character. He was called Mr. Zero when he was first introduced, and he was really campy, on the 60s show, and who he's played by Otto Preminger and all those. He's played by 3 different people, George Sanders and all them. Yeah, pretty cool read. Batman fights Mr. Freeze. Then here's issue 313 where he fights Two-Face. Now, I think this is the one, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the one where Two-Face might flip the other, the non-scarred side of the coin and might turn into a good guy again briefly. It's either this one or another one I have, so don't quote me on that, just in case I'm wrong. But I remember, whichever one this is, it was a good read. If it's that one, or if it's the other one I'm thinking of. Yeah, Batman fights Two-Face, and yeah, Two-Face, of course, is Harvey Dent. Side of his face got acid scarred by Sal Maroni, and then now he, during a trial, he became evil, and everything he does, he calls upon his coin. Is it the scarred side or the non-scarred side, where he makes all his decisions? And yeah, it's a cool one. Then we have issue 324. Is this the end of the Catwoman? Of course not. I think Catman's in this. I think this is the first full Catman appearance in a Batman comic, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, I even put a sticker on there. It said first full Catman title, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. And then here's issue 339, which has Poison Ivy. I think she's controlling Bruce Wayne with her she's brainwashed him with her poison. Pretty sure that's this one, her toxins. Yeah, because there's her kissing him, and then there's him signing away her company to her, or whatever it was. All I remember is, they didn't really follow up on it. She gets away at the end, and Batman's in her trail, but he still, got the poison in his system. They may have followed up on another issue, because I remember the one after that, I think, had the Mole and maybe the Penguin briefly, but yeah, Poison Ivy, another great Batman villainess. Probably my second favorite next to Catwoman. Yeah, this is the next issue, 340, where he fights the Mole, and I think maybe the Penguin has a brief appearance at the end, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, this is the Superman 2 contest. This must have been in, around 1979, before the second Superman movie came out in 1980. It was a pretty cool cover. Who Stalks the Gotham Knight, where Batman looks like a vampire. Yeah, there's a lot of covers of him, standing on top of a gargoyle. I've got one coming in the mail. I was going to wait till I got it. It's actually Batman issue 0 from 1993, and I was going to wait for it to come in the mail before I did this video and then show it. But I was like, I can't wait. I just want to see the video now. I'll show it in another video. Batman 0. He's got it on the top of the building at night. Here's 362 with the Riddler. Yeah, who says, riddle me this, who says crime doesn't pay? I do. So cool. Sorry there's such a bad glare on all the plastic on these things. I didn't want to take them all out of the bags and boards. But yeah, pretty cool cover, the Riddler. And then we have issue 399. This is this is kind of the newer. This was 1986, so this is kind of the it's kind of the newer era, the Bronze Age, I guess. Or maybe the Copper Age. Yeah, shrunken head and an axe. Pretty violent stuff. Yeah, that's another thing I like about Batman comics. They're always more dark and more violent, and he's kind of a more sullen, brooding badass than just a friendly superhero who winks at the camera and says, "Just join my job, ma'am," and then, you know, flies off into the sunset. Yeah, I like all that stuff too, but I like the contrast. I mean, yeah, he's hanging from a tree. It looks like a bat. What issue is this? 431. This came out in 1989, so this is the same year as the first Tim Burton movie. More on that in part 4 of this Hellhound's Batman collection. Here we have 441 with Batman and Two-Face, and I'm pretty sure that's Dick Grayson. Yeah, we had Dick Grayson was the first Robin, then Jason Todd, who of course was killed by the Joker, and then there was Tim Drake. Yeah, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and then Tim Drake. And then there's others like Carrie Kelly, and then Stephanie something. I forget. That was kind of after my time, I guess. After I kind of got out of comics for a while. But yeah, pretty cool cover. Yeah, I think that's Dick Grayson and A Lonely Place of Dying. Maybe that's Jason Todd before he died. But I think that was in. I think that was. What year did this come out? All right. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll talk about that later. Issue 444. Yeah, is another one of those covers where he's sitting on the gargoyle up high and watching over the city and looking for some criminals that he can beat the snot out of. 445. I probably grabbed a little bit too many comics, but like I said, if I grabbed all my Batman comics, I'd be here all day. This would be like a 2-hour-long video. There's 455. Okay, let's just try to get through it a little quicker. I'm just going to kind of show them and just say the issue, and if it's something a really cool cover, I might go more detail. Here's I read this recently. 457. Scarecrow, who of course just used his fear toxin on Batman. He thinks he's being covered in spiders, and then the current Robin comes to save him. Yeah. It's issue 459. Is that Commissioner Gordon on the front, I guess? $461. It's Catwoman on the cover. Batman and Catwoman. $495. This is part of the Nightfall story arc. It's Batman and Poison Ivy. I've got the complete Nightfall collection in a trade paperback. Night Quest. It's issue 501. Yeah, this was in like 93, so I don't have... This is kind of when I was getting into... Oh, Doug Munch wrote this one, and then it was drawn by Jared Wagner. Yeah, 514, Batman. Oh, and if you don't buy the whole long history I had with Batman from the beginning of this video, another reason why Batman is my favorite is because I'm Batman. So of course he's going to be my favorite. Alright, so next we have issue 545. It's the Joker. I remember buying this. I bought it at the bookstore in the mall, my local mall. I remember when it first came out, and I bought it, and I think it's in 97. Yeah, I think whoever I was with, my family or friends or whoever, went to JCPenney or Sears. I just went to the bookstore and bought that comic, and I was reading it like outside in the lounge area of the food court when they were shopping for clothes. All right, his annual 1990 issue 14. Obviously, it's Two-Face on the cover. That's really cool artwork. Yeah, Chris Sprouse and Steve Mitchell. I think it's the Neil Adams variant, if I'm not mistaken. I think he might have did the artwork there. But don't his name. Well, Alex Ross is another great Batman artist. He's of course the one who did that portrait of the Joker holding Harley Quinn. The Joker kind of looks like the Jack Nicholson version. Yeah, Alex Ross. His art looks like a photograph. It's so damn detailed. He's another one of my favorite Batman artists. There's way too many to name. I'll be here all day. Maybe I'll do another video by top 10 Batman artists and maybe writers and stuff. All right, so here's some of my Detective Comics collection. Of course, Batman debuted in Detective Comics, issue 27 to be precise. So I kind of kept all my Detective Comics stuff with Batman separately, but I dug out a few of them. Here's 513 with Two-Face, where he makes Batman into a Two-Face-like entity. Here's Detective Comics 669. I'm trying to show off different eras and like different iterations of the character, like different versions. This is issue 682, 691. Okay, this is the new 52, so they started the numbering system over. This is issue 12. The hell? I'm not big on this modern artwork. Like some of these modern comics artwork. It's too like computerized looking, too glossy and polished, and just kind of soulless in my opinion. But to each their own. All right, so here's some of my Batman. I have a lot more Detective Comics, but I didn't want to go through all those. Here's Batman Shadow the Bat. This is another Nightfall entry. Yeah, there's him in the Scarecrow. That's pretty cool artwork. Yeah, Batman Shadow the Bat. Here's another Shadow the Bat, issue 34. Issue 35. It's a cool cover. You can see the bat plane up there against the moon, kind of like on the Tim Burton Batman from 1989. 53. Is that a Huntress? Oh, wait, who drew this? Oh, who wrote this? Oh, Grant, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool artwork. Issue 65. Commissioner Gordon's in jail, looks like. I don't remember this. I probably haven't read it since it first came out, so I don't know why he's in jail. Here's Shadow the Bat Annual 1996. Annual issue 4. And then here's Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, number 68. Him fighting the Joker. Legends of the Dark Knight, number 70. Here's Vengeance of Bane, issue 1 from 1993. This is the first appearance from Bane. I remember buying this too. I think I bought it at like a 7-Eleven or some kind of convenience store, maybe a grocery store. I think maybe I was out with a family, and then like they were shopping, and I just sat on the bench and I bought this and read it. So I had no idea Bane was going to be such a huge character. I didn't know he was going to be a huge part of the Batman mythos and cartoons and video games, and then 2 movies, Batman and Robin, of course, The Dark Knight Rises. So yeah, back then I thought maybe he was just going to be a one-shot villain who never appeared again. But yeah, this is his first appearance right here, and I bought it when it was brand new, and it's still in pretty good condition. I took good care of it over the years. Like back when I was younger, I didn't take as good care of my comics as I did now, and I used to have more, by the way. I used to have more Batman comics, but they probably got thrown away or torn up or damaged in a flood in my other house, and so yeah, but I salvaged what I could. But yeah, but this is one of the ones that I bought when it was brand new back then. I remember. Yeah, Vengeance of Bane, issue 1. Then here we have a couple Batman and Spiderman crossovers, and these usually whenever they have a DC Marvel crossover, like they have, it's like in another universe, like with DC versus Marvel, and then Justice League of America / the Avengers. But in this one, they just exist in the same universe. Spider-Man comes from New York City to go to Gotham City, and Batman's just there. Yeah, I think in this one they team up to fight the Joker and Carnage. Yeah, what a pair, 2 homicidal maniacs. And this one they team up to fight Kingpin and Ra's al Ghul. So yeah, I regularly recommend these. I love the DC Marvel crossovers. I got a bunch of them, and these are pretty cool reads. So yeah, pretty cool to see my 2 favorite superheroes from 2 different companies teaming up. All right, so here we have Batman Scar of the Bat. Doesn't say a number. I don't know. Maybe this is the only one. It's kind of a thicker comic. This probably could have. It's barely made this video because it's almost like as big as a one-shot graphic novel, like Killing Joke, but not quite that big. Here's Batman Arkham Unhinged, issue 1. There's Two-Face and Catwoman. I guess this is in the same universe as the Arkham game, which I like a lot. I'll talk about them later in another video. Then, like I said, I'm not going to include a lot of the team-ups. I just dug out a few. I'm not going to include all the Justice League comics, because, yeah, we all know Batman is a member of the Justice League, but I might save it for another video. I'll do my Justice League collection, because, yeah, I'll be here all day if I talk about all my Justice League comics. But here's a few of the other team-ups. Here's Brave and the Bold, number 82, Batman and Aquaman. Was this Jim Aparo? I think Jim Aparo is the one that drew that, that other Joker cover that I showed earlier. I think it was Jim Aparo. He's a great artist too. This kind of looks like his style, but don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. Yeah, Batman and Aquaman. Yeah, Brave and the Bold was always a team-up title, but became primarily a Batman title, which is what they named that one cartoon series, Brave and the Bold, after. Because yeah, I was going to say Batman title after a while. Here's issue 48 where he teams up with the Flash. Wait a minute, is this in... Oh no, I'm sorry. This is, I was about to say, this is 99. It says 48 pages only. This is Brave and the Bold issue 99. Yeah, it teams with the Flash. Here's Brave and the Bold issue 111, where it teams with the Joker. This is quite a read. It's pretty interesting. And then, yeah, they're partners, sort of. But you know the Joker's going to be deceiving. He's going to have some kind of treachery up his sleeve. Here's issue 119, Batman and Man-Bat. I'm sorry if this episode's kind of boring. It's just me showing different comics I have, but you know, I enjoyed watching these sort of videos, looking at people's collections, kind of comparing them to mine, and kind of discovering new additions I might want to have. So yeah, if this isn't your thing, I understand if you don't want to watch this video. I'll go into more detail when I get to I think the graphic novels and like the cartoons and the live action movies. I'll be able to talk a little bit more about because the video will. Because I'm just trying to go through these quickly because there's so many of them. So stay tuned for those. Yeah, Batman and Man-Bat teaming up. Pretty cool. And Batman actually turns into a half-man, half-bat mutant, just like Kirk Langstrom, Man-Bat. And so it's kind of like Batman actually has superpowers. He actually has the powers of a bat for once, which is kind of interesting. Here's Brave and the Bold, issue 125, where Batman teams up with the Flash. And no, that's not Lex Luthor. I know it's just some other bald villain. Kind of looks like him. Issue 134, Batman teams up with the Green Lantern. That's not Lex Luthor either. Or wait a minute. Yeah, no, okay, no, that's not. I know one of these had Lex Luthor, but that's neither one of those are him. There's another one where Batman fights, teams up and then, fights and then teams up with Aquaman. It's issue 142. Yeah, Batman and Aquaman. It's 151 where he teams up with the Flash. Yeah, I would like to get into more detail on these because there's so many. I don't want this to be a 2-hour video. Teams up the Green Lantern, issue 155. And kind of a battle in space. I think Martian Manhunter might be in... Oh, no, not this one. I'm thinking of something else. Teams of the Green Lantern again in issue 174. Like I said, I have more team-up titles with Batman, but like I said, I didn't want to be here all day. And I'm not going to show off all my supporting characters like Robin and Batgirl and Nightwing, and then even like Joker and Harley Quinn. If they have their own title, their Batman supporting character, I'm probably not going to show all those because that'll just be too much. It's got to be an actual Batman title. He's got to be on the cover or in the story somewhere. Yeah, here's another where he teams up with the Joker, who was falsely accused of murdering the Penguin, and Batman's using his detective skills to solve the crime. It's issue 191. Yeah, Batman teamed with the Joker to solve the murder of the Penguin, but we all know that he's not going to... It's going to be a fake out. And here's, okay, that's it for most of my Batman Brave and the Bold comics that I wanted to show off. Here's World's Finest, issue 169, where Superman loses his superpowers, and then Batman loses his Batmobile breaks down. They both have, like, really bad luck, and it looks like it's going to be Batgirl teamed up with Superman. Kind of unusual twist involving this all, so... Yeah, I guess I recommend reading it. I do also have World's Finest 199, which was, I think, the second time Superman had a race with the Flash, and then I have a DC Comics Presents with Superman and the Flash where they race again, but I won't show those until I get to my Superman video, I guess. Here's another World's Finest. This is issue 230, the giant size, where Batman and Superman and the son of Batman and son of Superman are in this one. But really, that turned out to just be another fake-out type thing. It was kind of like just a video simulation or something weird. Rightfully so, because I thought that was kind of a stupid idea. Their sons look just like them. And it's also got Aquaman in like a separate story. Yeah, Batman, Superman. I've got a lot of Batman, Superman stuff, but I didn't want to be here all day. Alright, so yeah, we know he's a part of the Justice League of America, so I got a whole bunch of those, but I'm not going to show all of them because I'll be here all day. But yeah, we all know Batman is a part of it, so I just grabbed a handful here. Or not even a handful, really, just, yeah. Justice League. Maybe I'll do a Justice League collection video at some point. Then, of course, yeah, then there was Robin, I got a bunch of Robin comics, but I didn't want to dig them all out. That's what I mostly do a Batman video. And a lot of these Robins is the Tim Drake Robin, and then there's some in the future. I guess maybe that's Carrie Kelly or somebody else based on her. I know they have quite a few Robins after Tim Drake that I'm not very knowledgeable about. But there's Batman and some mechanized like Iron Man type features to comic. Then yeah, of course there's Nightwing. Yeah, I got quite a few Nightwing comics. Actually, I like Dick Grayson better as Nightwing than Robin. Oddly enough, I know back in like the '60s. Well, back in like when Batman's debut in 1939, like all the way to like the '60s and '70s, Robin was always there. And all the Super Friends cartoon and everything, it was always Batman and Robin. They were always together. But like I think it's kind of hard for Batman to be as dark and serious with Robin. But like the other writers like Jeff Loeb, and then of course like all the newer writers who made it more dark and gritty, always found a way. And yeah, here's another Nightwing comic that actually has Batman in it. But alright guys, so that's some of my Batman individual comics collection. If I think of more that I left out, that like there's other titles that he was in that I wanted to show, I'll do them in a future video. I hope you enjoyed my video. Let me know what you think of Batman in the comments below. Are you a fan or not, and why? Do you have a lot of Batman comics? Let me know what you have. Feel free to make your own video, and stay tuned for the next parts of this little miniature series. The next one is going to be Hellhound's Batman Collection Part 2, and I'm going to look at books. Pretty much anything you can read that's not an individual comic. So if it's not like a issue of a comic book magazine, then that's not going to be in the video. Just going to be graphic novels, trade paperbacks, omnibus collections, hardcovers, one-shots, anything you can read that's not an individual comic. So that's going to be part 2. Stay tuned for that. I'll get to it maybe later this evening. If not today, then maybe tomorrow or just whenever I get a chance. And let me know if you want to see more. So, alright guys, I'm Hellhound. Thank you for watching my late night spook show here on the Horror Metal channel. Long live Batman. Alright guys, till next time. Later.